The city of Johannesburg, and indeed the continent, is hosting for the first time the C40 Cities Mayor Summit, and it's taking place at the Sandton Convention Centre. And talking about the city of Johannesburg, I'm now joined by the MMC for Health and Social Development, Ms. Nonceba Molwele. Thank you very much for joining us. And I wonder, when people think about health and social development, how does that tie in with this idea of climate change?
Thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity. This ties in very well, Peter. The presentation that was given yesterday of the mega cities, it spoke about food and agriculture as part of the interventions. So in the city, we are having this kind of intervention. We are calling it agriculture and food security, which seeks to intervene in terms of poverty. Because when the mayor spoke in the morning as well, he made mention of the fact that out of the population of the city of Johannesburg, 42% of the communities still sleep without a plate of food. So our interventions, therefore, is to work together with the communities in encouraging them to grow their own food. So we are having a program of urban agriculture where people are growing their own food. And it ties in with climate change, because we're actually discouraging people from going to the market or to the shops and buy and purchase food, because food prices are rising every day. Fuel has just gone up yesterday, so if the fuel goes up, so it means that food will also go up, and then it affects the poor of the poorest in the city. So we are working with those people whom we have profiled their level of poverty. We have deprived areas that we have actually profiled, and we are working with those cooperatives, but not only for them to have a plate of food, but also to assist them to get out of poverty and to enter the economic mainstream. So we are working with those communities. So we are encouraging them to green the land, because greening the land is not about planting trees only, but it's also about working the land to benefit the poorest of our communities.
I know that when people think of Johannesburg, they think of a concrete jungle, but there are still parts of the city where people are still burning wood as a source of heat and fuel. And I guess this is something that you need to be looking at and trying to discourage.
Yes, they are. Like I'm saying, that we have profiled each and every ward in the city, and we have came out with a total of 36 wards that are still underprivileged, that are still burning wood, like you say. So our interventions is to assist those communities, because it is against the climate to actually burn wood. So we have there are a number of interventions that we are doing in those areas. Our focus currently, especially in this financial year, is based on those areas that you are talking about.
How do you get the message of such a big idea as climate change? Because if you're living on the borderline of poverty and trying to get out of poverty, sometimes these notions are a little bit too grand. How do you get across to people that we're all part of this, and we all need to do our bit to make sure that we do our bit to mitigate against climate change?
We are trying our best to get the message across. Part of our 10 priorities, which is the mayoral 10 priorities, is about active citizenry. So we are engaging the communities in the programs of the city, especially the message of climate change, because each and every individual in the city has to understand what climate change is, and also understand the interventions to mitigate against climate change. In preparation for this summit, we had community engagement. We went to all the regions with the executive mayor as members of the mayoral committee. We dispatched ourselves to all the regions where we were calling stakeholders, including community members, and we had a debate and a discussion on the climate change. But also, we are also dependent on people like yourselves, the media. If all media houses could also assist government in taking the message across. So we are dependent on those stakeholders.
What are you hoping to get out of this C40 Cities Mayor Summit?
You know, the sharing of information here is phenomenal. Yesterday I was listening to different cities sharing their experience and exchanging knowledge. I'm hoping that out of this conference, as a mega city of Johannesburg with 4.4 million, we will be empowered and also having more knowledge of how other cities in the world are intervening in mitigating the issues of climate change. But what made me happy yesterday is that our plan, our adaptation plan, is in line with the adaptation plans of other cities. I was listening to the adaptation plan of New York and other cities, so we are in line with other adaptation plans. But as I say, that we are willing to learn more from this conference.
MMC, Molwele, thank you very much indeed for joining us and sharing your thoughts with us, and we certainly wish you the best of luck with your endeavours, particularly in your department with the City of Johannesburg.